So I know that there are a lot of reactions, probably not in a positive light, at least from what I'm hearing, a lot of overreactions. I was one of them, and I will admit, after week 1 and 2, I was one of those fans that was saying, "Hey, listen, this defense just looks different. They look like something absolutely special." But then yesterday happened, and I had to rein in those thoughts. And same thing with the negativity, right? Here's the thing: at the end of the day, this is a very, very dangerous, very good Green Bay Packer team. Now, they've got a lot of things to work on, and this bye week couldn't be coming at a better time. You never want to see an early bye week, but if you're the Green Bay Packers, you want to see an early bye week. One, it allows people to come back off of injuries, get healthy, guys that are a little banged up, especially on this offensive line. But man, there were some serious signs of life. What am I talking about? Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is the Cleveland Browns game. Okay, so 13-10. You look at the total offense right there for the Green Bay Packers, 230 yards of total offense, rushing yards 81. Okay, so let's look at this Dallas Cowboys game. Now, mind you, this is a bad defense of the Dallas Cowboys going in, as opposed to a very good defense in the Cleveland Browns. But this is a very good offense in the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so you're seeing some serious signs of life in that this is a offense that needed to step up big, answer the call. That's exactly what they did. They put up nearly 400, 500 yards of total offense. They finally got their rushing game figured out, 164 yards on the ground. Wilson looked good, Josh Jacobs looked good, even Jordan Love, when given the ability. Jordan Love looked fantastic. And that's what I'm talking about, my serious signs of life. This is be encouraged, not discouraged, that this is a very good Green Bay Packer team. Do I think it is a Super Bowl type caliber team? Absolutely, 100%. This is a Super Bowl caliber type team for the Green Bay Packers. This is just week 4. Okay. We're 4 weeks in, 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. We're okay. The Green Bay Packers are okay. We're heading into a bye week. We're going to get some things cleaned up. What ultimately needs to get cleaned up? Well, it's the penalties. The Green Bay Packers, Dallas looked like the Green Bay Packers of last week. You look at what the Packers penalty wise last week, the Packers had 14 penalties. Could have been worse. It should have been 15. But the one got, declined at the end of the game. Then you look at the Packers, they had too many penalties again. 7 penalties. They're one of the more penalized teams. Now, keep in mind, let me rein everybody in. This is still the youngest team in football. Okay, you're going to get penalties. That's going to happen. And the Packers, if you don't remember, last week after the bye week, they cleaned up the penalties. This was a very penalized team heading into the bye week last year for the Packers. They got that addressed and cleaned up in their bye week. And that's exactly what I expect the Packers to do, clean some things up, especially when we were talking about the bye week happening. Dallas Cowboys penalized 11 times, Packers 7. Fumbles lost 1. Packers lose the turnover category there. This is a defense in Jeff Hafley that created a lot of turnovers, a lot of takeaways last year. I'm not seeing that this year. They're in having a guy like Micah Parsons is certainly going to create that for you. Now they need to Jeff Hafley. You're given this gem, and it's going to take a second. Okay, let's have some patience. This is a very long year, so it's going to take a bit. And again, what better time for the bye week that happened than now to incorporate Micah Parsons? But he's going to need help. He can't do it. He can't do it by himself. And when he's getting double and triple teamed, you got to have help in the backside. And that just you didn't see it. You didn't see it yesterday. It was very disappointing. The amount of pressure that was given on this Packer front, which is not typical. That's not what we saw against Detroit. That's not what we saw against the Commanders. Even the Browns for the 3 quarters last week, and at the beginning, the first quarter against Dallas. That's not what you saw. But then that special teams has got to get cleaned up as well. That's another major issue on this Packer team at the moment. Okay, so but the encouraging news is that there are some good takeaways, and that was our offense finally got back on track. Jordan Love, 31 of 43, passer rating of 118. He looked good. Jordan Love looked absolutely good. Now, everybody can start bashing the time management at the end of the game, but, he tried getting everybody together. He tried reining everybody in. He should have been looking at the clock, getting rid of the ball a little bit sooner than he did. Be that as it may. Again, this is the youngest team in football. They're going to get some stuff figured out. Not worried at all. Not even in the least bit. Josh Jacobs gets his legs back, 22 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. How about Romeo Dobbs? That dude is so good. 6 catches, 58 yards, 3 touchdowns. But what about Matthew Golden? It was his coming out party. 58 yards receiving, targeted 6 times, 5 receptions. Savion Williams is another just gold mine waiting to explode. Dontavian Wicks has had such a good season so far. He's had such a good year. That was a pass interference call. He still could have come down with that ball, but he's looked super good. This is a very potent offense for Matt LaFleur to work with. I'm not overreacting, to their start of 2-1-1. I did overreact to just how good they looked over the first 2 games. It's early on in the season. Everybody's, coming into their own, trying to figure things out, but I'm not overreacting to the poor performance against the Browns and the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. I'm taking a look at the positive in this, that their offense looked super good. I'm not even going to look at the defense. Special teams has got to get things cleaned up. I mean, that was clear. They just weren't ready for, they've got to work on a lot of stuff at special teams wise, especially when we start talking about getting, they had a block punt, or I mean, they had a field goal blocked on them and then an extra point, which then, talk about a jump start to the Dallas Cowboys whole team as a unit yesterday. It happened because of special teams. That has got to get cleaned up. There is such an influx of blocked field goals this year. I don't know what's happening or what's changed, but man, you're seeing it across the league. Okay, so here's something that I absolutely loved with Micah Parsons. Okay, so here's what Parsons said. He said, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm pissed off. I'm very disappointed with the overall how we performed. I even took Jordan to the side and thanked him for having our back today. That's why it's so pivotal to play complementary football, because today Jordan played like the player he is and was, and we let him down." What leadership there. And now, seriously, when you talk about getting a guy like Micah Parsons on this Packer defense, people are going to feed off that. What leadership did you say, "Hey, listen, we didn't step up. You did phenomenal, and we didn't get your back. Thank you for getting our back offensively." I love the ownership and leadership of Micah Parsons. Hopefully that just catches fire and is contagious. But here's the thing: the Packers, they're facing a bye week at the right time, and they got a serious sign of life in that their offense looked super good. The ground game looks back. Now, hopefully, we can get some guys back on our offensive line back and healthy. Jordan Morgan, though, I shout out to Jordan Morgan. Yes, he did get penalized again, but he looked good. He looked really good. He was handling Kenny Clark quite well. Um, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts, your reactions, and as always, go Pack Go.